Now, as the third phase of the lockdown is scheduled to end today, the centre is expected to spell out new rules for the next spell of the lockdown starting tomorrow. Sources say that the lockdown will likely be extended by another 2 weeks. Autos, buses, cabs are likely to be allowed to ply in non-containment zones. Delivery of non-essentials in non-containment zones may also be allowed. The definition of red zones will likely be changed though. Offices and factories could see more people being allowed. Government could also allow airline companies to resume operations of domestic flights in green zone areas. Centre has identified 30 municipal areas which account for 80% of COVID cases across the country. Strict lockdown is likely to continue in these areas. Kamalji joining us for more on this. Kamalji, we're looking at a election possibly by 2 more weeks. Of course, the restrictions though will be lifted. Most of the areas apart from containment zone. This is the completion of lockdown 3.0. We're entering the 4th phase of the lockdown, but will be more activity that we saw in compared to the previous lockdowns. Auto, buses, cabs will be allowed to ply. Most likely even domestic flights might open up.
Well, the new mantra for the government is to learn to live with a virus. So based on that, I think they've decided to go ahead with a new form of rules. This is what the Prime Minister also indicated on Monday. Significantly, what they've done is they've identified 30 municipal areas. So right from Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, Ahmedabad, we're looking at various cities from across the country which are contributing to the 80% of payload as far as coronavirus is concerned. So they have identified this and a stricter implementation of the lockdown will be held. Now, yes, there is obviously a talk about if the workforce has to resume, and presumably from 33% it should go up to 50%. There has to be the other norms of social distancing and wearing of masks. But what is significant is how will these workforce really reach their offices? How will they reach factories in the absence of public transport? Hence, the decision one is in green zones and in orange zones where limited amount of public transport could resume back. For instance, in Delhi Metro itself, if the first people have to go, it could be government employees or those in essential services. All this is being taken into serious consideration. We do expect by afternoon today is the time when lockdown 4 guidelines will be announced. A significant move out here, but a difficult job. What we also know is the states will have more onus and responsibility. The district collector in that sense will be made in charge of overseeing that the migrant laborers who are still on the roads are actually reaching back home. They're quantified, their details are uploaded on website, and then the arrangement of buses. But remember, once those factories and those workplaces resume, many of the migrants will have to go back. Those trains have to be rearranged so that they can come back to work. It's all about livelihood, economic activity, which have suffered over the past 2 months.
Kamalji, domestic flights, any word on that?
Well, Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri was very confident when it came to resumption. But I believe there seems to be a lot of differences, especially because even if it is city to city, because mostly the flights do fly from city to city. For instance, Delhi and Mumbai, both of them are in the red zone. Right. But yes, we know that the international flights have been carried out. So yes, there will be screening done, there will be doing, and yes, limited number of flights, especially those who've been stuck for very long, patients, for students, those people who've been stuck are the ones who will be first taken on that particular plane. Right. But a limited number is what we've been told. This is an eventual resumption that public transport like planes, like trains, like buses will eventually be back.
Kamalji, thank you very much for joining us with those details. We're looking at the 4th phase of the lockdown. Centre in its new guidelines for the lockdown 4.0 is likely to address the issue of migrant crisis as well. Sources have told India Today that the new norms could put onus on district collectors to help migrants go home. For this, district magistrates will be empowered under the Disaster Management Act. The centre is also likely to direct states to ensure that migrants are not allowed to walk to get to their homes. Centre may also increase the number of Shramik special trains to ferry these migrants.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.